How you doing, Robert? I'm still working on that Crazy Army. That's a long solo. Just recovering. Tonight I want to work on some linear concepts. Okay. Do you have any of the Gary Chester books? I mean Gary Shafee books rather, the Pattern series. He approaches linear concepts somewhat different than what I teach. I eliminate that step. That's like step number one. And I don't like the way he phrases it really nice, but I don't like the approach. I don't like the counting system. Do you have that book? I'm a little early, so let me give you an example of that. Let's just take a very simple rock pattern, or I refer to it as the money beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so when I'm counting my right hand, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and that's 8 counts inside of the measure. Okay, so it says 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, we could take a phrase like 4 strokes, 2 strokes, and 2 strokes. If you add 4, 2, and 2, you get 8. So let's say we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2. That would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2. You see the concept there, Robert? One and 2 and 3 and 4, or 1E and the 2E and the 3E and the 4E and the. Do you understand that concept there? For example, if I did a combination of 7 and 1, that's 8. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. All right, it's a different way, and you can come up with some really interesting combinations. I prefer, instead of me counting 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, I like to count it 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, or 1E and the 2E and the. You see the difference? as soon as we get someone else in this chat, I have a little venting to do. So, people tell me I should have things bother me. I should let things go. How you doing, Paul? It's very difficult to let things go when I work hard and I try to project to everybody the lesson. What people don't understand, okay, this is an instructional platform, not a performance platform. I'm not sitting here blowing my brains out and showing you how fast I can play and how good it sounds. That's performing. What I'm doing is I'm teaching. I'm breaking it down. There are drummers that come and view this or come to the live lesson of all different calibers. One guy's been playing 1 month, another guy's been playing 20 years. Some people know how to read, some people don't. Some people know the definition of linear, some don't. So what I do is I take it from ground zero and I explain it from there. I'm not here to prove anything to any viewers as far as my ability. My ability is for you to learn. Do we agree with that, gentlemen? Okay, Paul, how are you? You getting 2 channels out of your computer now? We're going to go back to that linear thing in a second. Oh, Paul, we're going to do Crazy Army one day this week, and 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover, and a lesson from Mike Clark, his new publication. I was telling Bob and whoever else was in here this afternoon, okay, that I was talking to Mike yesterday afternoon. Now I'm set up, whereas I could have other instruments going through this soundboard. Man, what a journey that was. Mercy, Lord be. I could have an organ player, a guitar player, sax player, a trumpet player. So what he wants to do, and we're going to do it as soon as this virus thing goes away, we're going to schedule him doing a broadcast with a few different musicians. He's going to explain his new publication, explain some of the things in there, and he's going to perform for us. I think that's pretty cool. Okay? What is this? Hey, Hoist, listen. Stop worrying about this book, The Level System. This gentleman, Rob Wallace, is on vacation. I've been bugging him 3 or 4 times. As soon as he comes back from vacation, I will get you the code. You will get the code, you go to Hudson Music, and you put the code in and you get the book. Is that simple? I'm not trying to beat you. You won, you get it. If you have any more problems, I will purchase the book and have him ship it to you. How does that sound? Now, what we're going to do, we're going to take, it's like the concepts of teaching. I think my teaching is very basic, and from the basic, developing step by step by step until everybody understands what I'm doing. Okay? Like I said, there's drummers from all different walks of life, all different calibers, all different kinds of music. Okay? Some read, some don't, some understand terminology, some don't, some want to play so fast, that kind of thing. And the reason why I did mention that instructional platform is when I was doing Rick Lathman's book, I gave you the first 6, okay? And I explained what was there, and I played what was there. I didn't blow my brains out. I taught you what was there. I get a comment in that video. Poof, I'm an idiot. Mercy. That makes me feel bad. So I said to the gentleman, I told him, thank you. I don't want to get into any kind of confrontation. It's unnecessary. So I explained to him that's very unprofessional. However, can you explain to me what you did not like? No response. People have nothing better to do. I was telling Robert before, we're talking about linear concepts. Now, we all know what linear is. It's just a straight line of rhythm. Only one voice at a time is played. Okay? So, my approach is I like to use 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, or 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the, or 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the. Now, it seems to be a little easier, and it's really good for phrasing Gary Shafee's pattern series, one of the books. I forgot which one it was. His approach, his entrance into linear concepts. Okay, it's in 4 that we're going to play. So let me go back a little bit to, if I was playing eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and that is 8 counts. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Got it? Now, I can count 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 and 2. Same thing. But now my thought is going to go someplace else. So I say, okay, how many different combinations could I get out of 8? I can get a 2, and a 4. Example, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. That was the same as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, you following so far? Randy. Do we understand that? Instead of going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I'm going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Do we understand the difference? 1 and let me do another one. Let's go 6 and 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. What's this? How you doing, Randy? Good for you. All right, so now, we understand that concept. Now you can have variables. You can go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. That's 8. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Are we understanding that? Okay, it's different. Like if I had 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. That's 8. 1, 2, 3, right? So you have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. It's a little strange when you're going 1 and 2. It's just a different way. So if I did 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. If I did 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, then another, take the grouping of 4 and 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. That was 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 and 2 and 4 and 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Does that make it a little easier for you? Dennis, how are you doing, my friend? You're missing out on all the announcements. Same thing with you, Randy. And Paul, did you understand that, what I said about Mike Clark? Mike Clark and I were talking on the phone for a while yesterday. I have his new publication, and I will do a couple lessons from his book. It's got some good stuff in here. And I'm all set up with this new soundboard that he's going to come down here with a few musicians. I can get a sax player. I can get a bass player or a piano player or a guitar player. Go through the system and you'll hear them. Now, when you talk to Mike Clark, you're talking about some heavy-duty musicians from the city. They'll be coming down here. And they're going to be doing a broadcast live, playing, jamming. He will explain his book, a few things from his book. And the guys, man, they're going to have a whole lot of fun jamming. He'll explain to you the concept of the 32 bars, exchanging 4s and 8s, the sections A, A, B, A, B, A, the comp, the improv. So we're going to learn all of this from the man. I just happen to think Mike Clark is one hell of a musician, one hell of a good player. I don't know who he intends to have come with you. Marcio. Hey, Marcio, are you going to purchase the PDFs or are you going to become a member? And Randy, if you can do the same thing, I would sincerely appreciate it. I am setting up the website with 3 options. The monthly thing that we already have. It's going to go to a 6-month and a year subscription. When you do the 6-month subscription, you'll get the PDFs with that. When you do the 1-year subscription, you'll get Stick Control Formula book, the hardcover. I think that would be better for a lot of different people. Okay, so enough of the bullshit. Let me get into the linear concept. I want to stay with 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, now, you can lock yourself in and get the feel or on whatever voices you want. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay? So I got 1. Now I locked myself into that. Now I could take that same figure and have a good time with it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2. Any voice that I want. 1, 2, 1, 2. If I did 3, 3, and 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. If I went 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, that. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Do you understand that? To make it a little easier for you. See, because what you're doing when you count it that way, you're basically still counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you're going 1, 2, in 8th notes, all right? 1 and 2, 3. Now watch me count this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do we understand how that fits? There is no set pattern. I mean, I could be Jibez and say, okay, guys, this is what we're going to do. How come there's only 3 people and 10 people in the chat? Hoist, did you come? You leave? Dennis, you still here? Robert? Randy? Marcio? Do we understand that, guys? I'm having a little dilemma here because we're going to expand on that tomorrow afternoon, 1 p.m. I'm going to come up with a whole series of exercises. I will send them. I will email them to you. Okay, now I've been working on Crazy Army. It's a classic rudimental drum solo. And when that was written years ago, you know, when they wrote that out, uh, there was a lot of roles that you felt, but they didn't fit mathematically. So it's going to be difficult to explain how do you get a 7-stroke roll in the distance of a 5-stroke roll mathematically. You can, but it's difficult to explain. They had a lot of problems with that. It's like you have to feel the 7 as opposed to playing the 5. Okay, the 5 is mathematically correct. The 7 is a feel. How can you teach somebody to feel that? Well, let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Okay, if I played 1 and 2 and I played 7s, 1 and 2, 1. That's a 7. 1 and 2. Now, it's written in 5s. Mathematically, but it's stating on the figure, that figure 1 is a 7. But mathematically, it's incorrect. It's a feel. So I'm going to give you an exercise for that tomorrow afternoon. Okay? And a few other preliminary things. Flam taps, flam accents, flam accues. Now, that you should be familiar with that. I'm going to give you the solo, the first 3 sections, the A section, the B section, and the C section, 2 different ways, as it is to be played with the solo, as with all the rudiments. Then I'm going to give you another variation of the rhythmic formation without the rudiments. Okay, and then we're going to take it apart. We're going to take 1E and the 2E and the 1E and the 2E and the stop. Let's see what's happening. Let's see what we should work on to make that better. Okay? And that's all going to be presented to you tomorrow afternoon on the drum pad. Tomorrow evening we'll come back and we'll do some more linear concepts. Okay? Now this afternoon, and I appreciate, Bob, you hanging out, I was explaining or trying to promote the stick control book formulas. Okay? And I was just giving a few examples of some of the formulas. Now, for those who have the formulas, the hardcover or the PDFs, there's 45 of them. Any in particular you're not certain of, will you want me to go over? Because I did write that book that way intentionally without any instruction. Now, you buy the book or you buy the PDFs, and guess what? It comes with a teacher, me. That's, I think, good promotional stuff. What do you think, guys? Okay, tell me what you want to do. You want to continue on the linear, the jazz, the 3/4, the modulation? Do we all know what modulation is? Where do you buy a book with a drum instructor, live drum instructor? Man, I hate this delay. It sucks. I hope you guys, with all the time you have on your hands, been practicing, making good use of your time. Are you getting it out of both channels, Paul? What is this? Let's see. I got to do something with this here thing. All right, modulation. I was always confused with the term modulate. What the hell is modulation, man? I never thought of modulation. I always thought about a feel. And what really turned me on was the odd time signatures to the modulation, and I understood it better. For example, if we have any mathematicians here, if I took 4 measures of 3/4, that's how many beats? 12 beats. If I took 3 measures of 4/4, that's 12 beats. So now, inside of 4/4, for example, you got to hear this musically, but if you want to do it mechanically, it's not a problem. 1, 2, this is 4/4. 3, 4. 1. Now I'm going to play in 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1. I'm back in 4. 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2. Now 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Back to 4. 1, 2, 3. Now, what I just did was I maintained the pulse. And I was thinking the first 3 measures in 4, and then the next 4 measures in 3. And you could, I'm counting it, so I'm not changing anything on top, but it's falling in a different place. That's what Dave Stanik's book is about. One of the things that he covers is metric modulation. Now, it's like playing 7/8, or 5/8 rather, and 4/4. 5/8, 4/4. 5/8, 4/4. There's no modulation there, but the pulse remains the same. It's difficult to explain unless I write it out. Brubeck is the one that really turned me on, the different time signatures. He would go to 9/8, all right, to 4/4, or 9/8 to 3/4, 5/8 to 4/4. It's, these are just like, things you have a good time with, you got to really be on top of, and you don't make a whole lot of money playing money beats. But it's difficult, and it's good for your focus. We will have a whole lesson this week, whether it's going to be tomorrow night or Wednesday morning, or afternoon rather, on the metric modulation. I will do Dave Stanik. I definitely will. I've been promising the man, and I'm going to do it. But it's just, if I'm playing in 3, I'm actually playing in 4. If I'm playing in 4, I'm actually playing in 3. 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 4, 2, 3, and 2, 3, 4, 3. It's just a different feel inside of the same time. It's a strange concept, and it's good. Example, if I'm playing 5/8, that means there's 5 beats to 5 strokes or 5 beats to a measure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, what differentiates the 5/8 and the 5/4 is this. If I have a pulse, my quarter note, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, that's my pulse. That's going to stay the same. Now, I'm going to play 2 measures of 5/8. Listen to that bass drum where it falls. No matter what you do, what country you're from, or what spaceship you're on, that quarter note pulse, the quarter note is equal to 2 eighth notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. Now, I did 2 measures of 5/8, but the bass drum shifted. The bass drum actually stayed the same, but the 1 was in a different place than the same as the downbeat with the bass drum. Let me try to show you again. Let me take the snares off and smack the bass drum. Don't play this bass drum on a gig this loud. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now that's the beginning. I'm not going to say that's metric modulation. It's not. It's I'm playing in 5/8, but my pulses is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Have a lot of, it's, man, there's just so much mathematically. I'm confused enough without that stuff. You understand that, Mr. Paul? No matter what you do, if you set the groove, say at 80 on a metronome, the quarter note is equal to 2 eighth notes. So if I'm playing in 4/4, I have 1 and 2 and 3 and now 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 4, and it should have been to 5. I'm sorry. It gets confusing, but we had to spend a lot of time with that. All right, and if any of you guys want to take a Skype lesson sometime soon, contact me on Skype, and we'll set something up, an hour or two on the drum pad, a one-on-one lesson. I get $50 per lesson, okay? You have Skype. It's very simple to download. If you don't have it, it's www.skype.com. Now, you have to have a camera, a camcorder, one of those. You go to Staples or Office Max or wherever, or Best Buys, and buy a camera and add it to the Skype. And you'll see it's best to do drum pad lessons as opposed to drum set lessons. Okay, so if anybody's interested in my Skype contact, it's not fun stuff. It'll make you cuckoo, Paul. My Skype contact is Matt Patella 1. Or if you get Skype, tell me, and I'll invite you, and you accept it, and we're on. It's fun. I do that a lot. I have a lot of, especially with this virus thing now. I have students all over, but the students that usually come here, they're on Skype now. So that's a good thing. Okay. Comping. John Riley, Jim Chapin, Mike Clark, Lenny White. Any jazz stuff tonight, gentlemen? Oh. Hey, Paul, are you getting it out of 2 channels now? Everybody, they getting it out of 2 channels instead of 1? I think, is the sound quality better? I need some help here. Robert, we'll get into it. It's not easy. It's all math. I'm not developing a feel or humming a tune or bebop or whatever. And I'm just explaining the mathematical divisions. Now, you have Paul, Robert, Dennis, Hoist. Does it sound better, Paul? I have to tell you, man, I just want to share this with everybody because it was funny. And it knocked me out. If I were to, say, be a sound man for some band, I went into a club and set up the sound system, boom, no problem. I understand that. But now to set up a sound system for doing something like this, it's like night and day here. I have to get the right thing going on just for the sound, going through the computer, going through the Behringer to the stream. That's a lot. And I don't know anything about it. So it was hit and miss. Every time I plug something in, it turned on. I said, I'd say a Hail Mary so it don't explode. But at the end, it came out good, I think. Next is adjusting the cameras. I'm going to buy one more camera for an overhead. If you guys do some Skype lessons, that'll give me a little extra spending money so I can buy a camera from my overhead. What do you mean the loudness is less? What do you mean? Can you elaborate on that, Horace? I have my, hold on. You mean you can't hear me? How about now? Did the volume go up? I just changed the volume. Is that better? My voice volume, is that better, gentlemen? I just turned the volume up about 4 notches. Tell me what the volume sounds like when I talk now. Is it better or not? It's, you know, I got to play with the system. I'll get it right. You know, it's very difficult. This has 32 channels. Huh. I could have a big band in here. I want to play a little bit. Yeah, now I'm going to start making recordings for sale on the site, advertising all the books. Now, from now on, gentlemen, when you want to buy books, like if you're going to go on Amazon or Hudson Music or Alfred or whatever, come to my site first, and there'll be about 50 different drum books. You could purchase them from my site. You will get them from either Amazon or Alfred or Hudson or wherever you buy them from. But I'm getting credit for that. I get a little bit of a kickback. All right? So from now on, it's feeling a lot better there, Robert. You know, what's this? A little clippy? What does that mean? Paul, explain that. What is clipping? What does that mean? Mean buffering? It shouldn't. When you say overload, you mean it's loud? All right, well, when this is recorded, I'm going to play it back and see what adjustments I have to make. You know, I have only one overhead set up. That usually covers that echo or whatever. It could be too much gain, but I don't know what microphone that might be. You know, I look at it as 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 24 different gains. Ha! So you figure it out. This comes with no instructions, only a screen with a monitor. Well, I don't know either, so Paul, we're in good shape here. I look at one of the screens here, the monitor. When I hit that, it hit the red. So I have to do the gain on that to keep that out of there. Now you could hear this, right? Now I'm going to play a little louder. And I'm going to play real loud. Now when I played it up to full stroke position and really banged it, was that happening what you're talking about? You know, about 7 years ago, when I first started the YouTube thing, I always loved Max Roach. Okay, thank you, Paul. Let's do the snare drum. I mean, you know, we're going to do the snare drum first. I'm going to play it light. That sounds okay? I'm going to play a little louder. You should be getting some red light on that. I'm going to do that one. I'm going to have my buddy do that when we get on Skype. We'll adjust the gains. But man, what a trip it was. You know, what I said when I started to do the YouTube thing, I like Max Roach and Bill Buford and Terry Bozzio and all these guys, all these great drummers. Man, they played Max Roach. My God, that guy is brilliant. Him and Art Blakely. Anyway, the waltz, the drums also waltz. I always loved that tune. So the way you guys practice now, hit full strokes or half strokes or 16th notes for 20 minutes or 30 minutes or reading, I like to play his foot ostinato from that 3/4 thing. 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 1. Now you should get whatever you call it. It should be the bass drum sounds equal. Hi-hat sounds nice. Now I used to exercise like this in 3/4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Missed it. 8th notes. 1, 2, 3. Paradiddles. Triplets. Just have a whole lot of fun like that. Now, I understand what you guys are talking about, the gain. I have to take it down, pull it up, and I will. I hate banging it. I hit hard sometimes. All right, so Robert, the left hand is starting to come back a little bit. I'm starting to feel it, and I feel good about that. Now I have to practice. Oh. Now I'm going to try to get the A, B, C sections of Crazy Army. And I'm going to present them to you two different ways, and we're going to break down 2 measures at a time. You're going to like that solo. We're going to do a lot of it on a drum pad, and then we're going to come to the snare drum. And I did mention that this afternoon. You know, if you have a drum set, why practice on a drum pad? Well, the drum pad definitely has its uses. Well, it was cool. It's pretty hot in here with these lights. I changed the lighting in, over the drum set. I have heavy-duty lights on the other side of the room going up to the ceiling. A lot of shit going on here. Talk about multitasking. Well, this is more than multitasking. This is insanity tasking. But I want to bring some nice stuff to you guys. Do you understand the concept of that, the drums also waltz? I have that video, Matt also waltzes. But do you understand what I'm doing with that, what I'm playing from? Let me explain a little bit more, okay? I'm doing a 3/4 ostinato pattern. Now, we talked about the modulation, then you could do it in here, but I'm not going to do that yet. This is going to remain, and occasionally I go off on it, I'm sorry. This is going to remain 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. My bass drum is on the count of 1 on every measure. 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. My hi-hat's on 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. Now, what really helped me out, I mean, I played that for a long time every day. I'd practice against that pattern, and some nice things happened for me, okay? But, you know, one thing that I heard Terry Bozzio do in relationship to this, it was a solo he did. I don't there was no name to it or whatever, but you could feel it. Now you're talking about 6/8, 3/8, 3/4, 9/8 phrasing, and we'll get into phrasing. But what he did is he extended this. He did it 2 different ways. I mean, 1, 2, 3. He added the bass drum on 3. So I have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and boom. And I like playing off of those things, you know, and you got to have a set of chops, man. So if you're vamping for 2 minutes, 3 minutes on the drum pad, sit at the drum set. 1 and vamping 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1. Do 8 measures. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4. 6, 7, 8. Quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Your own table of time. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Leave the quarter note triplets out. 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and triplets. 16ths. 2, 3. We have fun. So you expand on your practice. You don't make it so boring. You know, you can sit there and go do an exercise. 1 and 2 and. Now I could do that with the foot pattern and 4 measures of 3, which would give me 3 measures of 4. We could do the modulation and it gets confusing, but it's a lot of fun. And it's very helpful and rewarding, because if you do that for quite a while, you'll see an improvement. Well, we're going to. It's not mine. We're gonna take the clipping and we're gonna fix that. Okay. But you know, we can have a lot of fun. Now, I'm gonna keep the lessons at 4 days a week. However, occasionally you're gonna have me. I'm gonna have a day off someplace in there, maybe 2 days off in the week. It depends. But I'm gonna keep it to 4 days a week. Now, like I said, my computer guy, he's setting it up, registration monthly for 6 months and for 1 year. Okay, all the books are going to be on there that I'm going to be taking, that I use, and if you buy them, they're going to buy them from my site, or I'm going to, you know, add some more books from Alfred, from Hudson, from Amazon, and from, you know, whoever. Stick control book. I had a call that I might have something going on with the stick control book formulas. It would be an add-on to the stick control book itself. The stick control book that George Lawrence Stone wrote, the rights are to his granddaughter, and her and I have been talking a little bit. So all the hard work, no matter how poor you are, and you keep working hard at something, whether it's with your playing or getting a thing going on like this and making a few dollars so you can survive, will pay off with hard work and perseverance, no matter what you do. You know, people say, oh, you got too much competition. I have no competition at all. I do what I do. It's me, period. Has nothing to do with anybody. Well, we're going to have a lot of fun, man, Dennis. Okay, guys? So it is like almost 10 minutes to 8 now, and it's hot in here. We're doing a drum pad lesson tomorrow, 1 p.m. Paul, you have no school, man. You're on lockdown, right? You're doing stuff on the computer, Skype. You have a lot of time to practice. Don't stay up late. Get up like you were going to school. Get in the studio on a drum pad and practice. Dennis, you as well. I don't have to say anything to you, Robert. I keep getting the email from Jimmy. Jimmy's on lockdown. He's in the Massachusetts area. He's on lockdown down. It's 12 o'clock tonight, this afternoon. And the guy's a really nice guy. And he's coming down here for a 3-day camp with a couple other guys. We're going to have a whole lot of fun. If you guys could ever get a 3-day thing going on in a row, like a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, come on, we'll set something up. We'll go up to the, when all the shit gets off the wall, I mean, goes away, we'll have some, we'll go up and hang out with Mike Clark, go to the city, to the village, and see some great musicians. And I'll introduce you to all my friends. Now, that's not a good attitude, Paul. You're going to be as good as Buddy Rich? Why don't you be as good as yourself? I'm surprised that you said that, Paul. I had a big discussion in the Art of Drumming group about that. Who is the greatest drummer ever? I mean, what kind of shit is that? What is, we mean great? You take Buddy Rich, Elvin Jones, Joe Morello, Max Roach, Terry Bozzio. What's his name with the guy with the Beatles? Whatever. They're all good, but they're all different. So how can you determine who's better? There's no such thing as better. Gene Krupa, Buddy Rich, Joe Morello. Who's better? Nobody. They're all different, and they're all great. Not, well, great, I want to use that. They're all beautiful, doing what they do in their own voice. They hear something, they say something, I mean, they play something the way they hear it. That's their voice. I play the way I play. Paul, you play the way you play. There's no comparison to like who's great, who's better, you know, who's on first bullshit. You know, there's no such thing, man. We are all, again, we are all on the same journey. We all love what we do. and we want to learn as much as we possibly can, and we do want to grow and grow and grow. But that's like, who's better or who's the greatest. That's nonsense. Who's the greatest baseball player to ever live? Who knows? Who gives a shit? You know what I'm saying? It's like, man, you got to have a good time. You can't compare anything. It's not a sport. Who hit the most home runs? That shit. Absolutely, Paul. Thank you. You weren't joking. You were serious. You could only become, it's not that, you know what? When you practice and you think you're accomplishing something, which you are, you're accomplishing something. You're becoming more and more familiar with what you're doing. But the more you practice, the more you realize, oh man, all this stuff is out there. I got to learn this and learn that. You become overwhelmed. So, you can't even gauge that. But that is better, Paul. Thank you. You can come out of the timeout chair now. My coffee came cold. Now again, if you guys want to get on Skype, you want to take a one-on-one lesson privately, hit me up. It's a $50 bill for an hour and a half, if you don't mind. Okay, gentlemen. No red lights, huh? No, okay. I have a switch here. I don't know what the hell it's for, but let's hang out, have a good time, and I will see, what is this? All these I will see everybody tomorrow, afternoon, 1 p.m. Guys, what's that? This is crazy. You strive for Paul. Okay, guys.